Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, legendary Roosevelt Island. This is the day after. I just put one out, I think, last night. I was playing this morning. Wanted to throw this up here. I sped everything up 1.5. I think it's worthwhile to look at the whole thing. We have a really nice run through here. We've already wiped once. We got through this part and the next part, and the part with the snipers that they just owned us. One of the people dropped, and so we had another person. But we have a good mix of weapon DPS. I don't necessarily have to be DPS. In fact, in that first one, I was my brand new weapon build, but we just didn't have. They were okay. We need a little extra. So I switched to my skill-based DPS situation, and we're going to go through here. And what I've realized in this first part, this is almost mandatory. You need to put a turret or a person that can stay alive over on that left side and that flank. Makes a big difference with everything. In the first part, I stayed over there with a red build, and I pretty much, we went through it really fast. I was really impressed. So I think when my turret goes up, I'm going to head over there, and I'm going to throw it back over there. And in the ideal world, you'd put it up. There's like a little stand, and you can put it up on the wall. You don't have to put it there. You just got to put it on the edge of that. So right there to the right, that little bracket right there, that's where you need to put it. That'd be nice if you could put it there, but you don't have to put it there. You just want them to not go over to the left and expose your flank. And more as I play this, you know, they're continually trying to flank you, and you should be flanking them. I'm slow as usual, getting all the gear. I healed all this before, but I'm going to go up here. I throw a turret up here. Only 2 people can fit. You can maybe fit 3 back on those boxes, but you got to know what you're doing. If you rotate left or right, you get popped out of cover. So that's a 2-person. So in this part, you have 2 people back there, person here, maybe a person forward. And this is kind of how you're going to play it. Obviously, you can see that person, they're a shield build. They might be a... you know, shield build with Heartbreaker or maybe Striker, you know, if they're doing some kind of exotic thing. That's what I always do something weird. So 3 of us wiped here, and you can see this one person's right on there. Again, this other person goes up forward, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm going to call this guy Luca, but that's not his name. Him and I are skill people. Once I realize he's a skill person, I'm going to make a change. And again, with this build, you can see I have a blue, and then I have the perfect shock and awe. And then I put in my test subject. Watch the video. I probably should be playing, when I'm going to do mainly test subject, I probably should be playing whatever that one's called, the AR. Was watching a video with the Ultimate Shield 340, and he made a good point. Harmony is the perfect, it's like the akin to test subject, except it's a rifle. And really, a rifle, you only need to put 1 shot into someone, so you don't really need an AR to get the bonus of test subject. Harmony does it. That's a really fantastic. If you're not watching his channel, you should. There's just it's chock full of really good information on that. Just things that help you move along. So we're going through here pretty easy. You know, as a helicopter comes, you're going to pull back. These are all relatively higher people. I'm sure they've done this before. So we move through here pretty quickly. It's pretty seamless. We're not really talking or anything. My last video, you know, they would talk about what they're doing, but this one we kind of know what to do. I have since switched to Artificer, I don't know how to say it, sorry. And now I'm moving back, the helo's coming, I'm going to set up here. One thing with Artificer, if you leave it there, it helps your skills also stay alive longer, so you've got to reposition them. And, you know, the first helo comes in, and here comes the second helo. So we're moving pretty good, even though I'm at 1.5 in all of this gameplay and 3 in between. And Ranger goes down, but I think he has, you know, he self-reses, so that's okay. I've started using my healing kits a little bit more because it's just not worth it. Saving them for what? I don't know. Might as well use them. And the chungos go down fairly easy. You can see I'm at 317 on my, with all the buffs and everything. It's pretty good damage. And one of the nice things with Artificer, I'm helping the other people in the group that have skills. So legendary, you just don't want to outkick the coverage. And what I mean by that is you don't want to go beyond, you know, they're moving a lot further. I'm more of a backstop. I'll pick up here in a second and move up to them. But you do not want to be single by yourself out there. And we cleared out. So this is a pretty nifty group. We're moving pretty fast. I am out of keys. And so here you're going to see kind of the benefit of, you know, the build this time and the flexibility. Is there's another turret here, so when I put down Artificer, it gets both of them. I don't assume. I'd say this, you know, if you're the healer in the group, everyone expects you to res people. And if you're a max DPS build, you have the luxury, because you have skills that are out there putting damage still, that you can go res people. You don't really want to stop putting damage out because that puts the group at a, you see that chunk is going to go down pretty fast, puts the group at risk. And at this point, I know we're getting near the end, and so I'm supporting him. I know he doesn't need me to res him, but I'm going to support playing over there. And this week, in the past couple days, I am rolling out of the grenade launches almost immediately. And so try not to be the slowest one. And I think putting your turret up on that top, and you'll see the other guy puts his turret a little bit lower, which happens to be great because we'll have some people that sneak in on the left. So he's watching that side, I'm watching the right side. The only other thing on this part is that people come over the wall and they get on the mounted gun, and it's a pain in the ass. So you got to kind of think about taking that out as well. So we're doing good at this point. Again, I'm going to be on res duty. I just can still put out the DPS, so that's okay. And again, with the buff, putting over 300 sometimes with the turret. All right, this next section, you get 4 chungas, kind of a DPS race. You know, I always get shot in the back, so I'm really quick to turn around. So you see that Chunga long, start getting on him. This is another thing that Ultimate Shield brought up was, you know, to use your special weapon. I'm a technician in this build. And one thing is, you might as well use all the ammo. You're going to pick some up more here. So about halfway through, I started thinking about that. When I saw the ammo, I said, and this, you're safe to fire on this long-range Chunga. Since I saw someone do this in one of my matches, I do this. I don't know if I can shoot through there or not. I don't think I'm registering any hits. I'd like to register hits. I'd like to think that I'm doing something, but I just slowly realize I'm not doing anything. We prevented getting overrun by someone going on that, so I try to think about that every time. And you'll see we have a hard time getting this Chunga down, but if you have enough DPS, you can take all those Chungas down. It doesn't matter. You don't have to get all the healing pots out there. Something that's different about this particular section of the map, it gives you a false sense of that it's completed. It'll give you a dot like saying you can go to the next area, but really you still got enemies, and they're somewhere in between here and behind that kind of embankment up there in the front where the trees are. So it takes always a little bit longer than you think. You saw that a person rushed out, got smoked in the last video I did, this legendary stuff on Roosevelt Island here. So at this point, I'm thinking, man, we might get done in, you know, 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes, which is, I'm really happy. Next section should be easy, right? It's a couple of waves, maybe 3 waves and 1 dog. Your turret should go right there. That's where your turret should go. Shouldn't go anywhere else. You can put it wherever you want, doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but again, I wish I could say that I had thought of all this stuff. I didn't. There's people before me. I'm trying to be observant of what other people are doing and take their best ideas. I like to acknowledge them. Again, people like Rich85, I started playing Destiny 2, and I was in this point where my weapons, you know, that there's kind of like a skill power, kind of like in the Division. And, you know, I'm always trading up to get a higher level. And he reminded me that if you can, in Destiny 2, you can keep your same weapon, and the other weapons you can kind of fuse them, and it will increase the level of the weapons that you already have equipped. So I started doing that. So that's a shout out to him. It's again, this community has been great there and here. An Ultimate Shield with his videos, Sloth Mood with his videos, Super Slanky Lanky with his comments. I owe a couple other people that are very nice in the comments for what they're doing. Ms. Buffalo is a person that is always shouting out in general. She appreciates the videos. So I don't know if you saw in the last section, there was looked like a Vile Jammer person, and so I didn't even switch to my Jammer Pulse. He's just pulsing the crap out of him. So this is a person that has different builds. He's putting in different builds. And if you start slotting people, like if you start slotting spots, you need a weapon DPS, you need a skill DPS. And then it'd be nice if you had 2 like generalists. And I would say if you had someone with a shield DPS, those people are good because they can help pick people up. And then if you have a jammer or a crowd control person that might throw out heals, that'd be pretty good. If this wouldn't have gone so good, I was going to show you the gameplay of my red build. I got a couple different more pieces. It's really coming together. I was like, I don't care. I'll just wipe in this group. On one of my videos, I got smoked right here, so I'm always a little bit nervous about here. And Look at they're all over me, so I go and hide in the... I'm a little more proactive now when it comes to that. Yeah, but I worry about this section. It's just dumb to die right before the last part. And so the legendaries are a good way to test yourself, get a good idea of what's going on. Legendary Summit's always fantastic. I'll probably try to take that build in there. Some of the scaling when you're solo is a little bit easier, which is still okay. What makes a legendary tough is, in a lot of my builds, I have improvised gear. Okay, pause on that for a second. We're not sure what we're doing here. One guy earlier said jump, and then another guy threw a turret up here. So the thing is, if we're going to jump, I need a decoy. But it looks like we're staying, so I go back and switch to artificer. And I'm struggling with artificer because I keep changing how I say it, sorry. So we start doing this. And normally you should fully clear the and that guy jumps over. And so that's not the right thing to do. And then we get zoned in there. My stuff's on cooldowns. So I think we're going to fight from here. And you saw in my last video, this is okay. But where's the other guy? And so you can't start it and let them really get mad as hornets and then jump over. That's why it doesn't work. And look, we're already launching the 3 people. We're screwed. So this is a clear case of pug. I don't know what I think I'm going to do. But this is one of those times. I'm just going to do this. And this is why I don't like people that have that build with the hive. Because it doesn't help you. You're still alive. You're still going to go down when everyone's dead. But to each his own. All right, so now we're unsure what to do. So I wait for a dude to see if he's going to jump over. I don't know what to do. So, but what's my level of hot sauce? I did this yesterday. I got my exotic for the week yesterday. I'm doing this just to run this to just, you know, perfect the craft of doing these legendaries. I was really trying to run that other build, but we just didn't have someone that was gonna do this middle stuff. And that build's more of a shotgun build, so the DPS isn't as great, but I get a lot closer to people and. So we're okay. I will say this is one of the most boring ways. I prefer to go over the top and fight from the right. So I'm nervous because we're getting low on people. Sometimes you can shoot people through that hole, and to prove it to yourself that in between the fence and that little tarp, if you have like a Scorpio, sometimes you can hit them and that little proc on them. So that's what that person's doing there. And any little extra hit helps. So at this point, I've recovered my hive. You can see it's still buffing my turret, which is one of the... there we go. So I'm going to switch to, yep, and then we're going to run. We should be okay. That decoy is boss. I'm not the person who thought of it. There's a lot of people that suggested it. I think Rich was the first one I've seen it and things. Just like the jammer pulse, I never used that. When I first started playing this game and people would use that, I was like, why would anyone not just use a turret and a drone? They're the best. And all these skills have uses in different times. Like, I think the Firefly was the last skill I ever used, but with my Vile Jammer build, I use it to put the blind on people. Okay, so I don't have a decoy out, and holy crap, here's the Chunga, and we're not ready, and I don't, and. So, not a full clear, not gonna happen. So I'm going to change builds here. I'm going to go to Old Faithful. Not my new Vile Jammer, but my old Vile Jammer. It's the second one in. It has some recovery with it. It has a little DPS. You see, I'm going to change that chest piece out for this piece that has more speed, more haste, and it has Unbreakable. And I'm not changing now. I'm not going to throw out a hive. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm just going to stay what I am. I'll pulse them for a little bit. So again, this is kind of slow. I want to thank everyone that comments on the channel. I think I'm going to roll my other channel back into here and get the videos up on this channel. And I just will make playlists, I guess. I talk about both games anyways. In theory, when I had that other channel, I'm just going to talk about that or do something else and something else. But I think it dilutes everything. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. So that's what I want to do. But I appreciate everyone that's on the channel. Both communities are great. I haven't really got anyone on Diablo Immortal. That's probably more mobile stuff. I tried to load it on my Steam Deck. They said I got to load something Lutris to do it. I just tried to do it how I did WoW. And then I was thinking I should just, it doesn't matter. I do that because I do it. For me, having computers with Linux, I have it because I can do it. I thought it was neat back in the day. You could have everything run off a CD-ROM. Look how old I am. CD-ROM, you could put it in and it would run an operating system off a CD-ROM. Then it comes down to a USB stick. And I always thought that was cool. And I do most of my stuff online. So in general, I can do everything I want to do with that. Okay, I think we're getting close to getting everyone out of here. So that's my infatuation with Linux. So I have it on a couple of computers here. On the Steam Deck, it really works. You can pretty much run anything that doesn't have the copy protection on it. Like BattleEye and that kind of stuff. Other than that, everything just works. Play older games with it. I'm trying to figure out a comparison between that. What's it equivalent to? I don't have the highest end equipment stuff. And I think I've mentioned before, I'm trying to watch the amount of power, so I play this off a laptop. And I do everything on tablets, and I do most of my other stuff on tablets. Oh, we're going to go up and over. All right, so decoy duty. All right, I've switched to decoy. And I'm going to pound them with jammer. So this is, I think, probably the best 4th slot build on this particular one. A couple things are going to happen here. I'm going to AoE damage everyone. So I'm going to hit the copters when they're close. But more importantly, I'm going to just kill all the ads. I'm going to throw the decoy out there. And you might not think you need the decoy, but you saw how I got smoked before. As long as I put that decoy out, no one's going to get smoked in the corners here. So I'm going to do that. and then I'm going to just keep pulsing. Now this pulse isn't as powerful as the pulse on a skill build with skill damage, and I want to tell you that again. On the chem launchers, you can have one that's oxidizer and one that's flame, and the crowd control, our status effects oxidizer, is a skill-based one. So sometimes if and you can test this and you can see it's pretty evident. I hope I'm right on it. I think I am. So the only thing we have to worry about now is the Chunga. I considered doing my legendary. I have a yellow build that has blues in it, but it doesn't have a fast enough. There's the Chunga. Doesn't have a fast enough recharge. I do have armor recharge in this, so I should be okay. And I'm just going to continue to pulse everyone and everything. If I'm smart, I'm going to throw a grenade. So the other thing about this build is, right, I'm not even looking. I'm just going to AoE damage everyone. I can kind of focus in the back here, and I don't even have to look at where I'm damaging people. It's a great fourth build. So let's say you have a weapon DPS, you have a skill DPS. You could have two. You need two DPSers. Maybe one of them has a shield, so they're half a tank, so they can go res people. And then you have two skill builds. Those are usually the best. And this ancillary build I'm doing here, in my experience, it's a good build in these legendaries. So thanks again, everyone. Look forward to seeing you out there. Another legendary. Running Kazi taking off. Bye.